This week, I get absolutely pounded in the side in Race A. Race B sees me go for a double overtake. And in Race C, I go for a very daring move. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Gran Turismo weekly race guide here in 2022. It's week 29, and we're going to call this week Iffy Week. It is a very iffy week, but we'll get to that in a second. In the background, you can see we're at Lago Maggiore again. What a surprise. East End in particular, so we have some very dodgy corners, and indeed, there is carnage in this race. We're also in the Porsche 911 996, which we know is oversteery, so carnage corners, oversteery car. What more can you ask for in Daily Race A? Let's have a look at those details then. Racing 7 laps here at East End. It's a grid start with sports hard tyres, tyres 1 fuel and tyre wear, and you can see it's bop on, it's fixed setup, it's just a 911 996. You know, design it how you want, get in your own car, go out there and have some fun. Timestamps are in the background if you want to check those out. If you want to skip Race A, go to Race B. Or Race C if you really want to go to Race C, but hey, I don't like Race C. We'll get to that shortly. However, we're going to stick with Race A. Let's jump to this race then. Let's have a look exactly what happens, as well as a lap guide to boot. Here we are then at the start. A couple of TCR members in here, Inferno Fox and Sly Dobson. Shout out to you. Now, grid start does mean traction control on 1, so do set that up. And I'm going to do something very different here. I'm going to keep traction control on 1 throughout the race, and I'll explain that a little bit later on. You see, everybody gets a fairly clean start here in towards the left. Now, East End has that dodgy hairpin. Now, we've seen it in Rallycross going the other way. This way is just as bad as you're about to see. So coming into here then, Si's going to get this slightly wrong. Brakes a little bit too late here into Rene. There you go. And I get absolutely pounded there by Cooper. Not sure what happens. We'll have a look at the end of the race. Side does wait up for Rene there, and obviously just losing out on positions. And that's what TCR is all about. You know, we do make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. It's how you react to those mistakes. And Sai did give that position back and took a penalty to boot there by going really far back. So fair play to Sai. Now we got the inside among there and continue on into P9. Lots of places to be made here. Now, traction control on 1. The reason I keep it on 1 is because this car is very oversteery. Now, it is quicker without it on. But as you're about to see here from Bravs, goes, well, gets a bit oversteery, goes too deep then, hits Rene, and I'm going to get a position. I'd say it's faster without traction control. However, you want to survive the race. It's 7 laps. It's a lot of laps to try and survive. Maybe if you get used to it, you'll be fine. But it's not that much slower. Not that much. You might be like, oh, teacher, I use traction control. We don't know how to drive it any time. As the ultimate driver, I'm the best driver. No. Just use traction control. It's okay. It's there for a reason. You can use it. You know, road cars have traction control. As Rene goes off and is about to test that traction control. On the grass, potentially. I'm not sure. So we're clean on through into P7 then. We're in P6 now. Somebody quit, by the way, if you're wondering why we're up to P6. So we're going to continue on around. We're going to have a bit of a good race here with GR86. This is Graham. So Graham goes defensive here. We had a good run out of that corner. Again, traction control helping with that run. So I advise to use it as we come into here now. Very hard corner to nail when you're overtaking somebody, but we do okay here. Give Graham enough room on that outside here, and actually going to get the better run out the corner and going to keep that position for now. So we remain in that cursed position as we start lap number 4. Going into here again. Just being careful of that oversteer, trying to balance the car. Very hard car to ride. It's a good job DR and SR are not affected here, because trust me, it is a solid combo this. As we come into this right-hander, through we go. Traction control helping out massively then as we leave that corner. And again, I advise it, put traction control on 1. There is no harm doing that. So we just fast forward a little bit here, catch up to GR86 here, and let's get into some action then. So they get on the inside here. We're going for that run on the outside. Not going to quite work. Trying to go back on the inside. Not there. We're going to go back to the outside. Just going to be the inside for turn 1 here. Are we going to get it done? No, not quite. We didn't have the overlap there. Graham with a bit of oversteer there. Nice moving. As we go into this right then, and again, straight line the braking here. You don't want to go too deep. Now, GR86 kept going a bit too deep into this corner. So we're going to take full advantage of that as we leave there. But still in the lead. Still beating us here, GR86. Well played. So in towards this right we go, and again they go a little bit too deep here. You can see the oversteer in that car. I'm trying to keep it stable, and I get a brilliant run out that corner. Traction control helping me out massively, and we do get that position. Happy days as we head down towards the right-hander here. Very tricky right-hander. Right, Let's advance towards the final lap then. Let's see if we catch the top 4. Let's go into a track guide as well. So turn 1. The end of the fence on the left-hand side, really good marker. And I use this for all Lego Maggiore layouts in terms of this left-hander. Use the end of the fence. Get used to using it. It's really, really useful. As you come into here, you just want to balance the car as best you can. Oops, somebody disappears there. P4 now. You don't want to cut this too much. And now you want to straight line this bit here. And you're braking just before the curb here, but you're straight line braking. Remember, braking the best or braking the most efficient means braking in a straight line. That's what we're going to do here. Straight line all the way towards that hairpin and second gear. Now, as I say, traction control a little bit impactful here. It will keep you safe though, so we use it as we leave there. Be careful of oversteer if you're not using traction control. Now, on the left-hand side, we don't use this very often. We're normally using the right orange bit, but on the left, I was using this more because it was just the way the track is. As the barrier color change happens there, you want to brake and then turn in and balance the car. You want to clip the curb if you can, accelerate through the corner. Again, use traction control if you want. Without traction control, you just got to be really sensitive to that oversteer. It will happen as we continue on down this back straight, then heading towards the final corner. Now, on the right side, you got the pit wall, tyre wall thingamajig there. That separates the pit lane from the track. Use that as your brake marker. We're in road cars, so braking is a lot earlier than in race cars, so use that as your brake marker. Third gear here. This is where you'll suffer the most oversteer when you're not using traction control. Be very careful, as you can see there, by the German in P3. Be very, very careful there because it is very tricky. And we're going to come home in P4. Now, there was some talk about Marito overtaking a very crashy way, but we're going to look at that at the end of the race. Fair play to GR86 there for the race. That was brilliant, Graham. Thank you so much for that race. That's it for race A then. Let's head to the race where I suspect everybody will be this week. Welcome then to Sardegna, specifically layout A, which means it's the fast one. You know, lots of straights here. So I was trying to think of a really fast car. Then it came to me, of course. Who was OP at Daytona? The Supra was OP at Daytona. And there's a mixture of cars you can actually use here, to be fair. I'll talk about that in a second. Let's have a look at those race details. We're racing 4 laps here at layout A at Sardegna, which is quite a small race, to be honest. Rolling start, which is nice and easy. Racing hard tyres, times 1 fuel and tyre wear. Bop is on, and it is fixed. And we're in Group 3, if I didn't already mention that. So, the Supra was the car I chose. However, the Mustang seemed to be pretty good as well. So, do pick some of the faster cars, try them out, and have some good fun here at Race B. It's a short race, so really, you can get in the thick of the action with pretty much anything. Let's jump to the race then. Let's have a look exactly what happens, because once again, we have some 3 wides and the odd crash. Here we are then at the start. So you can see Mustangs, a lot of Supras in here. Obviously, everybody having the same opinion as myself, that the Supras are fairly OP on the straights, so use a Supra. Oh, the Mustang was very good at some corners, I noticed, when I was racing the Ghost. So that's why I also recommend trying out the Mustang, and maybe try the odd other car. McLaren F1 might be good here. I'm not too sure. Shout out for you, Ghostly, with that one. I know you love the McLaren F1. However, let's get on with the race. We've got wind up ahead then. I'm going to head towards turn 1. Very easy to get your braking wrong here on lap 1 because of tyre temps, etc. So just be careful of that, as that Subaru did go off there, Renegade 93. So we gained a position already. We continue on through here then, and you can see up ahead all racing action. Everyone's very close here, so it's a little bit better when it's close like this. And we'll talk about closeness in the next one. Let's put it that way. As you see, was that a Supra trying to go on the inside of the Porsche while wind goes down the outside? So I was like, okay, let's try and follow wind. Let's see if it's a gale force wind or just a little breeze. In towards the left we go. And we're staying on the inside of Aurora. The brilliant racing there with the Swiss driver. As you can see, wind there side by side with Chris up ahead as well. So some good racing action here. And that's why I suspect this race will be the race to go to this week. Lots of close action, lots of racing. This is what everybody wants as we then head in towards this hairpin then. So I tried to outbrake the Swiss driver, but they decided to outbrake themselves. So I get on the inside here still. And they oversteer, but I helped them around, thankfully. And Chris just keeps that position as well. And on the inside. Now, this corner coming up. Do not go too wide into this. Let the lead car take the way here and then come back. It's better to get the move done here, as the Swiss did look down there, but it's not really the place to go. Chris then gets that wrong. Up into P11 we go. And another Supra up ahead win there, making the move on the Aston Martin DBR9, isn't it? I think. I can't remember. GT1 car. Right, Send Taxi gets... Oh, who's that? We've got the A1 sideways, but Send Taxi gets it wrong as well. So up into P9. Not too bad in terms of positions made in this race. P15, I think it was. So yeah, not too shabby at all. Just going to go defensive here versus that Supra. Obviously in the slipstream, they're going to come back at me. So I'm going to stay towards the left-hand side They've gone towards that right then. They're going to head towards the braking zone at turn 1. And we both try and brake deep, but they brake a little bit later than I do. And yeah, we keep that position. Happy days. So in towards this left we go. Wind pulls over here. Now this is an interesting one. We'll have a look at this after. We've got somebody else off. I'm not sure exactly what happens here. But we do have those 2 and 3 wide moments happening right now then. We've got wind. We've got the Aston Martin here. We've got Mr. Potato Head. I never knew the Toy Story got the PlayStation 4 or 5, but there we go, it does. And you see there, 2 wide does not work. I took full advantage of that. That's why I backed out a little bit here to get the momentum out the corner, because when he's 2 wide, they go really slow, and then you can just be like, hey, I'll take full advantage. So we've got the inside of wind, and we've taken that position as well, up into the cursed position. Not a bad race, this one for us, as we continue on towards this straight then, hoping that the slipstream up ahead does work out in our favour, as we follow up Mr. Potato Head's slipstream here. Obviously, Potato Head will have a bigger slipstream because of the size of the head. Maybe. Not too sure. Right, we're going to head towards turn 1, and Wind's going to try and go around the outside here, but I think Wind clips the gravel, maybe? I'm not too sure. So goes for Spinner, and yeah, we keep that position. So no threat from behind now. We can just threaten Mr. Potato Head. We'll come after Mrs. Potato Head. How about that? So in towards the braking zone we go here. Round the outside. But a bit too deep from me. Nearly into the back of the Hyundai. We get a good run out the corner here. Really, really, really good run. And we start to just put a lot of pressure on Mr. Potato Head. So again, this corner, you want the momentum out the corner, not into it. So keep it tight here, and then you chuck it left and go for the acceleration through the corner. You can see how that works every single time. We get another position then up into P5, P4 up in the distance. Now, if you watched the intro, you may have seen what happens with this one. So, we're going to leave that corner. I'm going to go into a lap guide as well. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. You know how to do a start-finish straight, I hope. But in towards turn 1. The orange paint before the 100-meter board. That is what I'm using here in the Supra. Now, the Supra has very good brakes. You might have to brake a bit earlier than this. Depends on the car. But use that as your reference point. As you go into here, you want to clip the inside. Do not go over the curb and accelerate out. Be careful of oversteer and touching that gravel as well. We continue on through the left here. Head over to the right-hand side of the circuit. On the left, you see a grandstand there with loads of tent roofs. The end of the tent roof is your brake marker for this. You might want to brake a bit earlier again. It's up to you. But I use this as a brake marker here. And you're going to drop down. Now, you want to try and keep it a little bit tighter than what a lot of people do here, because you want to run out the corner more than into it. Get towards the left-hand side. And you see that orange painted barrier there? You should be braking and turning already for the right-hander before that. If you're turning after it, you're braking too late. It's the only reason I show that reference point, because it is too late if you do that. So you can see we accelerate out of here. No problemo. And we're going to head towards the sharp left-hander coming up. Now, this one's a very tricky one now because the billboards aren't in practice. We normally use the billboard, the second to last billboard. However, this tree here is quite obvious as you drive past it. Use that as your reference point here. You can notice I'm still using that. Use that as your braking reference point. This gap in the trees right here, very obvious as you go through the corner, that is your accelerating point. So you see that in the center of your screen, you go, aha, I can hit the throttle and I will not hit the barrier. As you see there, nailed perfectly because I used that marker. My markers are valid. Use them. They are very good reference points. We're going to continue on then. We've got a run on John in the Hyundai, and because we're in a Supra, it's got nitrous. So John goes towards the right. We're going to go towards the left. Your brake marker for this corner, it's not the 100-meter board. It is before the 100-meter board. You see that you brake 10, 20 meters earlier because otherwise you're going into the back of somebody, as I nearly did on the previous lap. However, we're going to make this time. So we stop it on the apex. Happy days. Accelerate through the corner. Job done. Be careful of oversteer on that corner. We've seen a few people oversteer here. And we're going to continue on up to the tricky part where I made some moves at least. So as you come into here, you're going to lift off a little bit, head towards the right-hand side. Now, before that curb ends, you want to either drop a gear in and just let the car roll through, which is a bit dangerous, or dab the brake, drop a gear, and then go into the corner. Notice I carried a bit too much speed, so I had to brake in the corner, which is also dangerous. But you're going to get a bit of understeer, so it will carry you through the corner. Last corner, 100-meter board is bang on the money for this one in most cars, so do use that. The 100-meter board, nice and obvious, nice and easy. Just be careful on the exit. We saw a one sideways. I'm not sure how that happened. However, your car will oversteer quite a lot as you leave this corner because most cars are going to be in first gear. Leave that corner then, and we're going to head towards the line. So this one, a good race, in my opinion. A really good race. One to check out. One to have some good races at. And we've had some good races here. We've overtaken a lot of cars, gained 9 positions. No, 11 positions. Happy days. 11. That's good. I think it's 11 anyway. But yeah, brilliant stuff there. Brilliant racing with everybody in that lobby. That's it for race B then. Let's go to the dreadful race C. Welcome then to the Nurburgring. Yes, of course it's a Nurburgring. It's not going to be any other circuit, is it, that I hate? The Nordschleife, or Schleife specifically. So yes, it's just the North Loop. That's what it means. Happy days. Learned some German there. But this track is not a race track. It's a time trial track. Like, for time trial, I think it's amazing. But for racing, not so much. Let's jump to the race details. Let's find out what we're actually doing here, first of all. Racing 2 laps here, so not a long race in the slightest. There's a rolling start, which is dreadful at this circuit. Racing hard tyres only. Times 1 fuel and tyre wear. So, and, well, Group 4 bop and fix. So there's no strategy in this. It's just a flat-out race. But the circuit is so tight, and even Murray has agreed with this. The circuit is so tight on Gran Turismo, it is so hard to race clean, and that is what you will see shortly. But let's jump to this race then. Let's have a look exactly what happens, because not much happens really because of the start. Here we are then at the start. Make sure that all sorts of Group 4 cars here. Obviously, the all-wheel drive cars probably going to be up there being the best or so. But here we are with Womble randomly goes towards the left. Not sure what's happening there with Womble. Womble does do YouTube if you want to check him out as we continue on through. So up into P9, and we're looking to try and catch P8 relatively quickly. But yeah, the rolling start is a bit dreadful, if I'm honest. We start, what, 2 corners back there? Some people will start 3 corners back because not a lot of people had put in the quali times. So it's all about now catching the next car up, as we're just going to fast forward through this section just to catch up. I'm giving you some racing action here. This could be like a minute video, and that is it. So we're going to head up to the floodplats here. So in towards the right we go. We just lift a little bit here. Fairly okay. A little bit dirty, yeah, nothing major. You can flat it in time trial. I'm in the Subaru, by the way. I forgot to mention that because it's an all-wheel drive car. Now, we're going to get a bit of a sketchy move on here because, hey, we like a bit of sketchy moves. I didn't even mean to go for this. So coming into here then, you normally just lift for this corner, but Nebu slams on like crazy and then leaves the door open. I'm not sure whether they expected that or not, but oh my word, scared the life out of me. But hey, we get the job done and it was all clean in the end, but that was scary, scary, scary stuff there. But we somehow made it work. So we've got Abdullah up next, and towards the left we go. Let's see what we can do against the Supra. Oh, somebody's into Barry R there in the distance. Who's that? R4M, such speed, wow, into Barry R. Fortunate for them, as fortunate for us, we gain a place. Happy days. In towards this right we go, continue on out of there. We're going to head down into this complex section. This section, quite hard to get right in general. It's very difficult. There's going to be no lap guide here, by the way, if you haven't guessed. We don't do lap guides for the Nurburgring because it'll take about 3 billion years. Abdullah gets it all sorts of wrong, though. We're going to go around the outside. This is going to be very sketchy. It was a hairpin and yellow flag in the distance. That's Wind, who's hit barrier at some point. But we get the job done versus Abdullah up into that cursed position. Happy days indeed. But yeah, Wind's getting it wrong there into the hairpin. So up in the distance, we see those two side by side. But in the mirror, we're going to have Abdullah come flying in there into barrier. Smashes right into that one. And yeah, going to lose a place to Nebu. So let's fast forward a bit more here in this race. As you can see, they went side by side in the distance there. Wind getting that overtake done. This left-hander, very difficult to get right. As you see, Matt gets it slightly wrong there. I'm not a Nurburgring expert in the slightest, which is why I don't do track guides here. And I'm also not quick here. However, we do get a run on Matt here. So we're going to look down the inside towards this right-hander. Very hard to nail this here, but actually broke a little bit early and probably could have made the move stick there. So leaving this corner, we're going to have a lot of grip here and a big old run on Matt in the Viper. Now at this point, if I was Matt, I would give this one up because going into the carousel too wide doesn't work because you end up on the outside line here, which does not work. You will go very slow through there. So we do get that position anyway. And we're going to continue on out of there. So up into P5. Now, folks, that is it in the race. Literally nothing happens. Everybody's spread out massively. You can see that in the track map. Look at it. There's gaps everywhere. Obviously, it's the first race of the day, so there will be gaps, but you can't really overtake too much until the straight, and then you can overtake. Wind overtook 2 people on the straight at the end there. So, yeah, I'm not a particular big fan of this race. It is what it is, this race. Enjoy it if you like the Nürburgring. I certainly will not be doing it again. Normally, I would do another race when it's like this, but not the Nürburgring. Sorry, folks. It's just not for me in the slightest. But don't leave now. We've got some of the bloopers that you guys love. Let's jump to those bloopers right about now. Right, here we are then. With Cooper first in race A. So slight tap into turn 1. Nothing major. Everyone's trying to race clean here. We've got Mung on the inside. Just avoids Cooper. But Cooper gets all sorts of oversteer here. Tries to catch it. Breaks and it's too late. Hits the sausage. Goes flying into me. Like absolutely pounds the side of my car. It wasn't the rear of the car in the end. But that's the reason why we need to get rid of sausages IRL as well. Because the cars just take off like that. So not Cooper's fault in the end. It's all very well and good, you know. At the time you think, oh my word, this is crazy, and then after you can see why. So we've got a move here by Marito. I actually say that's a fair move there. on Inferno Fox, a part of TCR, of course. Now, if you want a TCR livery, do check out the website. They're going on there week by week. And also, if you've got a clip, I've talked about this before, if you've got clips for racing, send them in. Slight tap on Inferno Fox, who goes into Gianmarco. So they carry too much speed here, and that's going to give Marito P2. So Marito looking on his head. I'm not sure what fully happened there. It might be netcode, really. So yeah, do send in clips. The form in the description. I'm going to be reacting to them this week. If you want me to react, do send them in. Right, coming into here. It looks like Marito's doing fairly okay. He just lifted there a little bit. In towards this break-in we go, and then... Oh! I'm not sure whether that was netcode again, you know. That looked very netcodey because he sort of jumped forward a little bit there. So maybe not Marito's fault. I'm not too sure. Right, let's have a look at what happened with wind in all of this then. Oh, we sort of caught up to this big gaggle of cars. So heading into here. Oh my... Whoa! That's a lunge and a half on Mr. Potato Head. Wind just pulls over and then that P4 stays there. Now, Wind didn't hit P4. P4 was just off. So I was very confused by that. Let's jump to Wind then. The final incident we're going to look at here. So Wind... Oh, he does clip the gravel indeed. Clips the gravel. Heads to the realms. And then Wind is trying to... do donuts instead. Donuts on the circuit. There's a one who saw sideways earlier. But that is going to be it in terms of bloopers and the video this week. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Apologies for Race C being... well, Race C, to be honest with you. I don't do track guides at Nurburgring, so it is one of those. And the racing wasn't very good. But even so, Race B is my go-to race this week. Do go for that. But the 2 videos there, if you want to check them out. My logo's there if you want to subscribe and stay in touch with all the latest content. And please do give it a like on the way out. It helps me out massively. Have a good one, folks. And I'll see you in another video or live stream very soon.